The grass is green, the birds are chirping. Is it safe to finally say that spring and summer is here? I wouldn't jinx it too soon. We had snow 2 days ago. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Today I present to you the last and final video on building the Acura Integra Mia Toretto should have had in the first Fast and the Furious. I have a lot of problems. If you've been watching the videos of the car she had in the Fast and the Furious, I think they did it all wrong. There's a lot of things they could have changed. Let me show you what we're doing. So we changed out to old school 4-spoke axis wheels. I don't agree these are the right wheels, but they are 17. She had like 20s on her car. This is a much better wheel to go. I don't actually know if they were 20s. They might have been 20s. I've never actually looked at the specs of her wheels. They looked way too big. Maybe some of you think these look too big. Ideally, I would actually like to go with probably a 15-inch wheel on this car, but it's not feasible. And I've had these wheels for 10 years. And I think Donovan's going to be excited to see them on this car. Donovan, when you're watching this, you better be excited to see them on this car. So I did like the decals on the car that she had, or decals for the Americans. I agree with that. I think the silver kind of washes it out. Now I wish I'd done something with the color of the car. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with it. I did change the interior a little bit. Interior wise, we did go with just aftermarkets. I literally had these parts laying around, so bear with me here. The seats are for my buddy Chris. Chris had these seats kicking around in his Quonset, so that worked out good. Just a bride shifter boot off Amazon and a steering wheel head kicking around. So overall, looks good, looks more feminine, looks, I don't know, kind of racer. I'm digging it. Now there's one other thing I've been working on in this car, the J32 A2, is that right? J32 A2, and here it is. So it is a 6-speed car. It has the J32 A2 as mentioned. I think it's about 280 horsepower. I don't know, something like that. Definitely more than Mia had in her car. For those, I don't know the Fast and the Furious, like I know them well, but I don't know if that was an actual JDM car. It was a sedan, not a coupe, and I did argue that earlier in one of my previous videos about how they screwed that up. Mia was like 20 at the time. She probably wouldn't want a sedan. Maybe she did, I don't know. But we have some work to do here. We have the J32 A2 that came in like a 03 Acura Type S. There's some things we got to deal with. Now this valve cover was done by my buddy Matt. He was trying something different to kind of make it cool with my YouTube logo. Didn't work out. We could probably fix that at some point. Not a big deal. Oh, thank goodness. Like, what is that? So let's get cruising here. I got some cool stuff to show you guys on what we're doing today. Now as mentioned, the birds are chirping, so I do apologize. I lost my mic. I don't know where it is. It's probably in my garage somewhere. But the birds are chirping. And behind me I do have the wide body EG Civic that I was working on, but I wouldn't say I lost interest in it. I kind of got discouraged with the whole sanding thing. I don't know, it's way too much sanding. And you know, it's car season. I don't even have a summer car right now. This is like the first year I've never had a summer car. So with that said, it is what it is. Now the key here is, can I do the next step without dropping a bolt down the intake into the head? You don't want to skip the next step, so we need to put next intake on here, and I'm just dreading this because I know if it goes in there, we're gonna have a rough day, but we're gonna do it anyway. Here we go. All right, I got all the bolts in there and torqued, and I'm happy to report that I didn't drop a single one down the hole. The last thing you want is a nut or bolt in your hole. Okay. So next up is the next step. We can't skip any steps here. Some of you might already know what's going on. Some of you don't know what's going on. So I encourage you just to follow along to see what's going on. Not like Dr. Seuss out here. Okay. All right, we've got everything on here. I've got this all torqued up now. I don't even want to talk about trying to get those torqued up back there. We've got this on. Now it's time for the cherry on the cake, or however they say it. I don't even know how this is gonna work, but we'll see if it fits. And if it doesn't fit, I don't know what to tell you. We're gonna make it fit. Now, anybody that's known me for any extended period of time or any amount of time, you know that I used to be huge into the Grand Prix. Big. I had so many Grand Prix. I've had GTPs on air ride. I've had GTPs at full race car. I've had twin charge GTPs. I've had everything. I was so big into Grand Prix that you remember the 1.9 modified rockers that ZZP brought out? This guy. That's how long I've been into Grand Prix. So that said, you cannot take the Grand Prix out of a Grand Prix guy. I don't know how to say that. So I know what you're wondering right now. Where am I going with this? How's it gonna fit? So you bend over and I'll show you.
Bend over and I'll show you.
And yes, I put a supercharger on. The thing is, the car's not mobile. I might use silicone to do this, and I want it to set up over the next couple days. So that's why we're out there right now doing it. What I'm doing here for those interested is I need to drop my 10mm wrench. I need a spot for my PCB line. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run it up here, which is nice because we have full vacuum all the time on this side of the supercharger, and that should work good with a 90 there. And then I hooked the brake booster up to the vacuum port down here. Hopefully it's a vacuum port. I haven't run the car yet, but there was no coolant in it, so that's a good sign. Although that kind of looks coolant related. Although there's no clamp on it, so I doubt it's coolant related. So hopefully it's a vacuum line, and we're getting close to firing this thing up anyway. So I'll just get this tapped here, and then we'll finish off getting everything set up here and see how it goes. This is a Gen 5 M90, which is funny because back in my day of doing Grand Prix, the Gen 3 was the current model. To get a Gen 5 was really hard. This was actually super easy to get. I actually got it off Marketplace for, I think, 50 bucks. So does it work? I don't know. But the coupler feels good in it, which they're notorious for going. The rotor's like coating on it, so we're moving in the right direction. What we got going here is the Minitech lower intake adapter. I was going to go with the other one, but I thought I'd sit too high, but here we are with it sitting equally as high. So I actually don't know. The other one, you guys like my work bench here? The other one bolts onto here, adds a plate, so actually really it probably was the same height, if not even a little lower. Little things to do, we do have to lengthen a couple wires to get up to here. I'm not sure who or why this happened, but I might just put a fitting in there. We have to get our PCB system hooked up back here. We got the throttle body working, just gotta make sure it goes wide open throttle. I'm gonna block off the coolant ports that go up to the throttle body. I don't know about these cars, but my experience with like GM type cars, hot coolant in here is a recipe for knock or KR or whatever you guys want to call it. I'm gonna get that done. I do have to get the belt on here still. I do have to put the I do have a tensioner adapter that has to go on there so I can run the belt, get the belt on here yet. The things are moving in the right direction. As long as the hood closes, I mean, oh boy. I don't think the hood's gonna close. Might be a little bit off. How far off is it? So my friend recommended I get hood spacers, but I don't think they're gonna work. Got a little ways to go here. So maybe we'll just lob a hole in it and just cut a hole in the hood. Yeah, let's do that. I think that's gonna work. I know what you're asking yourself. Steve, why would you cut a hole in a perfectly good hood? And the reason is because I want to. It's my hood. So it's actually not a perfectly good hood. It's actually a piece of shit. It's all faded and needs to be re-cleared, which is another video coming up. I'm going to re-clear the hood for you guys so you can see how I do that, but not today. At Talon would be nice if we could get it finished. So Chris would be excited to see that thing going. Not today because we're still waiting on parts from eBay, which have been a long time coming. Let's cut a hole in a carbon fiber hood here and then we'll re-clear it. And then at least it'll seal that cut edge, I guess. Why are we doing this outside, you ask? Because you guys ask all the questions? Because this is a disaster. And it's 25 degrees out here, so why wouldn't you do this outside? My plan here, because I have probably somewhere around 10 inches to get in there, I'm just gonna draw a line of what needs to be cut out and then slowly chop it away. I could just do the standard, what a lot of guys do is just cut a big rectangle in there. I don't know. Let's give this thing a quick little shot here. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Watch, the car latch is broken. Well, we're gonna address it after, but it closes, so that's good. Gonna clean up these edges after. Not this blows away, but yeah. I'm sure you guys have figured out what's going on by now. We're putting an M90 on here. So if you know me and you know me back in the day, there's a jet really loud up there. If you know me and you know me from back in the day, I used to be huge in a Grand Prix. The GTP was kind of my jam. I've done them all. I think I mentioned that earlier in the video. I digress. So moving along, let me show you what we got going here. Okay, so the rain stopped about 10 minutes ago, and what I've gone and done is I just kind of use, I have a structural body panel adhesive, and I went around and anywhere the panels actually touch, I body panel adhesive them, and then I clamped them. We'll leave them till tomorrow. I know it's not going to make a big difference. I'm more looking for the rattle when the hood closes. I don't like that every time the hood closes, so this will help with that. We're going to get going on this other stuff here. I don't know if I mentioned it in the video, my buddy Matt tried to make these valve covers custom for me, and well, it didn't work. Actually just scrapes right off. Look at that. Look at that. Matt, come on, what'd you use for paint on here, brother? Comes right off. So we'll have to fix that. Probably pop the valve covers off in this video yet, and do something with them. I'm not sure what. And get this all connected here. So here's one of the problems I have with this. I need, for my brakes, I need a vacuum source, right? Now, I can't remember on this. I'm pretty sure this is a vacuum source here that we could use for the brakes back here. And then it keeps it relatively clean, I guess, something like that. I don't want to use this. This is the brake and the Grand Prix, but it's going to be ugly and sticking out of the hood. I'd like to just cap this off completely. We do need a boost bypass valve here. We'll shave this piece off here. We're going to block off all the coolant. We do got to lengthen these wires. I'll do a lot of this off camera. I'm just showing you guys what, and we got to put the belt on yet, clean up whatever mess I made earlier in the video there. Get these grounds on so this thing actually runs. Move from there. So things are moving along. I'm going to hammer this out. Totally no point in videoing it for you guys. I'm sure you're not overly interested in all the little details of things I'm doing, and then we can move on to a couple other things that need to happen in this part of the video, like put that clamp on there properly. That would be a good start down there. Ooh, today is maiden voyage day for the Acura Integra. For those that don't know, I'm so excited I have a mouthful. Those that don't know, this car has literally been like a 10-year project. Maiden voyage, J32 A2 M90 supercharger. I did the interior stuff in it. I threw some cheesy decals on it, some 15-inch subs, because I am a 17-year-old kid. Well, we made her back. It was a bit of over an hour drive. We got no headlights. We got no tail lights. We have no brake lights. We have no fuel gauge. We have no temperature gauge. But all things considered, we drove over 100 kilometers and we made it back to our destination. And that's a win in my books. Well, we made her back. It was a bit of over an hour drive. We got no headlights. We got no tail lights. We have no brake lights. We have no fuel gauge. We have no temperature gauge. But all things considered, we drove over 100 kilometers and we made it back to our destination. And that's a win in my books. All right, guys, we've got the engine done. We've got the exterior done. We did the interior. We've taken it on the maiden voyage, but now it is time for winter. Although blue skies and beautiful right now, they're calling for 35 to 40 centimeters of snow a night. For the Americans, that works out to as long as your wiener, 6 inches. So that said, I do have them at my storage compound here. So I'm gonna give you a quick overview of what we did, because I had a lot of content that was on the memory card that I'm using right now that ended up corrupted, and I hope this doesn't. And I lost a lot of content on building this car. We'll do a quick run through. I did not bring a key with me. I should have, but I'll explain more in a second. And we'll go from there. So with that said, one reason I didn't bring the key for the Integra is my son's in the Army and this is his car. I don't have a key for it. So his car is blocking the Integra. So there's that situation. I did park it here a few weeks ago. I've been away at work. I apologize that this video is a little bit delayed. What are you gonna do? The car's been sitting here. As you can see, it's covered in frost. It's about -7 Celsius right now, which is actually warm in terms of Canadian winter. But as you can see, we've got the greasy M90 Gen 5 supercharger sitting on top. It sticks out. This is what I call a big block of engines. You have the J32 A2 V6 engine in the Acura Integra with the M90. That is like what Dom had in his car on Fast and Furious. Supercharger always sticking out of the hood, just full on gangster. We've got that down. We'll pop the hood in a second and show you. We also have over here, we did the decals on the side. I apologize, we'll get into this in a second. They're on the side. I do need to do something else. I think I'm gonna end up wrapping the entire car. That's another conversation for another video, but I think next year we're gonna do a whole look over or makeover on this car. Now when I parked it, there was two 15-inch subs in the back of it. Hopefully they're still there. The interior of the car looks like as such, and we'll see here. We've got the steering wheel in and the seats, and I did like the purple shifter boot and the deck. There's a lot of things that I noticed on the maiden. There's a lot of things I noticed on the maiden Voyage that are not working, that need to be addressed next year. I mean, we're gonna wrap the car after winter. After we wrap the car, there is things like the gauge cluster is not working in a lot of places. There are a lot of lights not working, things that need to be addressed. But the car is running and driving. Like I said previously, this has been a 10-year project, and it's cool that it's finally mobile, you know? It's a very clean example of an Acura Integra that now has the J32A2. Somebody's extension cord, I have no answers on that. J32A2 in it, 6-speed transmission. I do think it would be cool to do a all-wheel drive conversion on this and turn it up. So the car isn't tuned right now. I've driven it a few times untuned. It doesn't need to be tuned. We're gonna get into that in spring. Like I say, there's a lot of snow on its way, so I live very close to the mountains. The mountains are right here, so there's that. Flat tire, why not? I'm not convinced I'm gonna keep these wheels on it yet. I think next year we're gonna do a different look on it. I might drop from a 17 to a 15-inch wheel. You guys drop me a comment, let me know what you think. May change the wheel size. We did skin the hatch with the carbon, but if we wrap it, I think it'll look a little bit better. It's just very dirty. I did paint the valve covers, and that was part of the clips that I lost. So I did a wrinkle black on them. The engine's a mess right now because it's not sealed. Things are looking pretty fire at this point. That's that. I want you guys to make sure you're here in spring when we do this. If there's things you want to see done to the car, let me know. I'm always open. Like, I would love to do some cool stuff to this. Whatever you guys want, I'm here for you. I'm here for your entertainment. So let's do this together. Let's work as a crew and a team, build a gangster car. Thanks for watching.